Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen, I'm going to need all of you to have a seat right over there because I've been going through some transcripts and there's something you need to know. You're watching TTFT. I'll be watching as well and listening.
Hey, Jimmy Olsen, the f*** you doing in there?
I look ridiculous. I don't want to do this. I changed my mind.
Rob Dyrdek did ridiculous. They gave him a show for it. Get your ass out here.
Fine. All right. This is so f***ing stupid.
What? All right, guys, welcome to another episode of TTFT. Guys, guess what? I am so f***ing excited today. The intro, the trailer, everything. We are back in Marvel world, and I am marveling. Can you not see me? I'm draped in this stuff. I got the Eye of Agamotto. He got the smoke flush eyes. You have Mr. Dr. Dark, Stephen Strange, and you have Caecilius. David, how the f*** are you feeling?
I'm feeling really f***ing good, and I'm feeling, not because of any of the reasons that you said, but we have a sponsor. Roll that clip. If you want to feel like a superhero or a supervillain, check out Aimbot Energy. They are locally produced right here in Jacksonville, Florida, locally owned and operated. They produce a healthy alternative to energy drinks that doesn't give you the sluggish feeling when it wears off.
You mean the crash?
The crash. The 3 o'clock crash. It is 100% natural. They use a perfect balance of nootropic to enhance your focus and multitasking, your memory and your critical thinking, your blood flow, because that is actually important.
Does it help serotonin?
It does help the serotonin, and I would use it specifically just for that if that was the only nootropic in Aimbot Energy. Aimbot has 0 sugars, 0 calories for those of you that care about that kind of stuff. It comes in 4 flavors: blue raspberry, fruit punch, green apple, and straw kiwi. This stuff is so powerful that they recommend if you're a new user of Aimbot, you only use half the bottle because a full bottle will kick your ass. Right now with our discount code, you can get a 4-pack for under $10. You can get 40, which is regularly $100, for $85. So go right now to aimbotenergy.com/discount/TTFT. Support Aimbot Energy, local business, support our show, independent. We're all happy, and you are the best version of yourself. Aimbot Energy.
David, why roll your bot when you can aim your bot?
Alright guys, this episode we are going to be joined by Coby Greif. He is a writer at CBR, Comic Book Resource, as well as Screen Rant. He will be actually jumping into the elevator pitch with Brandon Carlos as well coming up. So what else what movie are we doing?
Hey, guys,
Why do I look like this?
We are here to cover the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Doctor Strange, and I'm taking you down the Marvel road that you've never been down. And I'm going to go ahead and say this because, guys, we don't hold anything back here at TTFT. For 98% of David's life, he's hated. And I do mean, no. That's the flip side of that coin. He's hated the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And what I mean by that is, hold on, I didn't say he hated Marvel. Because guess what? I got you. We both were introduced to Marvel at the same time with HTD. Quack, quack, quack. Before Affleck, there was and Gilbert Godfrey, USA Up All Night. Bing. There was Howard the Duck. So with that being said, that wasn't a part of the MCU. But with that being said, guys, we're watching a film today called Doctor Strange. And if you heard me talk about Black Panther and you've heard me talk about a lot of other films, this is a standalone film. This is one of the, I think, 3 or 4 films out of the 22 that they've made that can be a standalone film, and you've been proof to that. So let me ask you this. I know why I chose it. Why did you choose to accept watching it?
First of all, a editor's correction here. I don't hate the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm indifferent to it. I'm intimidated by the size of it, and I would die exactly feeling the same if I never saw it. With that said, I gave Doctor Strange a chance because we'll get into what, because that's actually my given.
Okay.
But I will say that
Okay.
You told me that I would like it for what reason?
I told you would like it. The reason I told you would like it short and sweet is because he was the first person to actually use his mind to become powerful that I saw. And he was already, before he even had the powers that he had powers by simply using his mind. And we'll talk about that later. Neil, I need you to open your mind. And with that being said, guys, we're going to go into our elevator pitch. And guess what, guys? We got something super special for you this week. This is the first time we've actually introduced our guest and Mr. Brandon Carlos at the same time. So, guys, hey, listen, I could describe this. I don't have enough words or enough time. So, guys, take it the away.
Basically, it starts out, you see a really scared homie, and then he gets his head cut off. Some weird-looking dudes steal a fucking book, and then some, like, bald-ass Celtic lady comes out of nowhere, chases these motherfuckers down the street. The walls are moving and going sideways, and so they fight for a little bit, and then the dude with the book gets away. Then after that, we finally meet our hero.
Yeah, we're introduced to the doctor himself. He's in full-on surgeon mode, doing his thing. He's got his music playing, he's doing his music trivia. And then it's kind of like an episode of House. They got this guy they think is dead out in the hallway, and they're like, oh, Hugh Laurie, except it's Benedict Cumberbatch. We think he's dead. He's like, no, he's not dead. He's just got the most specific problem.
This thing is like trapping blood in this particular area, and we just gotta pull it out, and then he'll be good.
Yeah, and then they save his life, and you get to see the scene where Rachel McAdams gets to tell the family the good news.
She's like, it's always about you. And he's like, but it's not about, he's like, no, but it is. And he's like, yeah, you're right.
Then we get to the big scene. He's in his car.
Like, he's looking at like x-rays and like MRI screen. I'm just like, what the f? And his dumbass just gets yeeted out into the ocean.
Cut to, he's in the hospital. He looks up.
That's cringy. It's cringy to look at.
Rachel McAdams is there, and he wakes up out of the coma, and his hands are there, and she's like, they did the best they could, and he's like, I could have done better.
And then he goes through this whole like weird part where he's just like trying to get his hands back.
He's like, let's do this experimental surgery. Let's do it.
And they're like, it's gonna cost you.
Then we see him in physical therapy. He's like being a dick to his physical therapist.
Yes, and his physical therapist brings up the fact that there's a dude that came to physical therapy and then he just stopped coming to physical therapy. He's like, well, what happened? He's like, I thought he died, but he walked down the street. He has this like spout with Rachel or whatever. He's like, you like broken things?
If someone's coming to cook you dinner, just like shut up.
Eat dinner.
He like goes to this basketball court. Benjamin Bratt comes out of nowhere. Wait, is that the guy from Miss Congeniality? But that's where we learn about Kamartaj, and we learn about the Mystics, and Benjamin Bratt's like, these guys took me to this temple and like now I could walk.
Doctor Strange goes to Naples.
Nepal.
He gets robbed and finally meets the bald lady from earlier.
The ancient one.
She shows him like a book of chakras, and he's just like, fuck.
And then she just lights him up.
Yep, he just fucks your shit up. Bam, astral project. And he gets back in his body, and she's like, open your fucking eye. And she goes, blah, 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 blah.
This is like the Matrix. Like, he is going down the rabbit hole. He took the pill, and he gets to, learn under his master, Mordo.
He ended up spending his time with Wong and trying to make him laugh for the most part.
So then he's learning, basically it's him learning.
My hands are f***ed up. I can't do this, like, swirly-dirl thing to, like, teleport. She's like, it's not about that. So she opens a portal, and they both walk into Everest. They're, like, standing on one of the cliffs in Everest, and then she just leaves his ass there, and she's like, I guess we'll see if he gets back or not.
He does come back.
He does come back. He looks very cold. I would be so pissed off if somebody left me in Everest, even momentarily.
So where are we up to now?
Basically, he's studying up after he does that Everest bit. So he can like twirly twirl. He's like stealing books from the library while Wong is listening to Beyonce.
And then he does the apple.
They're like, hey, quit f***ing with time, man.
So then Wong and Mordo tell him about the different sanctums, right? There's the one they're in, which is in Kathmandu, Nepal. And then there's New York City, London, and Hong Kong.
Yeah, the Zeld's attack, given the New York one.
Right, and then the master, of the New York one, I don't know if he gets killed, but he definitely gets messed up.
Yeah, he's dead.
He discovers that little, window that could go anywhere in the world, and then he uses that as, a tool in the fight. And he, kicks that one zealot, into the desert, and kicks the other one into, the jungle or something. And
that's when he gets his cool fucking cape.
He goes to the hospital through the portal.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, so he goes through the portal, but he's like an astral projection. Rachel McAdams' character is like, F*** you, Steven.
He had the astral project fight with the other zealot.
And everybody's like, what the What?
That's when like the Ancient One and Mordo like find him, and he's like, I did it. I saved New York.
Until fucking Hannibal comes back. And then Sorcerer Supreme
man.
dies. Then the big boss shows up, and he's like, wait, you're still alive? And so they fight more.
I think they're in Hong Kong at that point. Benedict comes back and he's like, I'm gonna save the day, but not in the way you're expecting.
And he's like, Dormammu.
I've come to bargain. So they trap Dormammu in the time loop, and Dormammu's like, time sucks.
It's like, leave Earth alone because I'm going to annoy you to death.
Yeah, then he takes down Dormammu, and then that's pretty much the end.
So like basically half the movie is just CGI fighting and running on buildings.
All right, want to give a big shout out to Brandon and Coby Greif for putting that elevator pitch together. Stick around. Later in the show, we'll be talking to Coby a little bit more about what he does over at Screen Rant and CBR, as well as what got him into Doctor Strange, and we'll also discuss the movie a little bit with him. Very fun interview. Stick around for that. Right now, it is time for We Do Our Research.
3, 2, 1.
Doctor Strange was released on November 6, 2016. On this day, it shared the theaters with Hacksaw Ridge, The First Trolls, X-Men Apocalypse. Is that a good X-Men?
You know what? A lot of people said no, but them for saying that and Dark Phoenix was bad. To me, you don't want to hear this. The best X-Men I've ever seen is X-Men First Class, which is one of the most hated.
All right. In November of 2016, here are some things of noteworthiness that took place. November 4th, the Paris Agreement, that thing that controls climate change, or tries to, became effective. November 8th, Donald J. Trump was elected.
I kind of thought we were going to go 3 seasons. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and you got a high five when you get a fist bump on that. Yeah. The was that? Yeah.
November 12th.
You're fired.
November 12th, Jackie Chan was awarded an honorary Oscar at the 8th Annual Governor's Annual Ceremony. On November 28th, Hamilton sets the record for the most money earned in 1 week on Broadway at $3.3 million.
Jesus.
Yeah. Doctor Strange had a budget of $165 million. It made over $85 million on its opening weekend with a gross of $232,642,000 to this date. The filming locations are Nepal, New York, England.
David. What? Nepal.
Sorry, Nepal. RuPaul's sister.
I'll let her run.
All right. The filming locations are Nepal, New York, England, China, and California. It was shot from November 4th, 2015 to April 3rd, 2016. All right, Lord of Connections. I hear you have some connections. It's time for connections.
All right, guys. It's kind of ironic that the atheist is calling me Lord, but hey, that's the world we live in now. It's 2021. We've survived COVID. And with that being said, the character of Doctor Strange was, of course, Steve Ditko, and of course, my guy, Stan Lee, or Mr. Lee, as I call him, and not Bruce. And with that being said, they created the character of Doctor Strange. And while that is not a connection, I feel like I owe them to pay them that homage. Now, with that being said, if you are a true fan of Stan Lee, let me ask you this. Pop quiz, hot shot. I'm talking to my co-host. Feel free to do this.
Wait, you said if you're a true fan of Stan Lee and you're talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Yeah. I just want to see, have you ever heard of this theory? You be honest right now, because I want to look at the camera, because I want the fans to really see this real time. We've not discussed this. What do you know about Stan Lee and the double initial?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, Stan Lee is truly responsible for what he calls the double initial. And what I mean by that is Spider-Man's real name is what?
Peter Parker?
PP.
Okay.
Oh, when you go to the Fantastic Four, you have Reed Richards, Sue Storm. What is the Incredible Hulk's real name? I'll help you before.
Bruce Banner. Now I was a fan of the original Incredible Hulk.
You talking? I know who you're talking about.
Lou Ferrigno and what's his name?
Oh, Lou Ferrigno was the best Hulk ever, and he still is. Then you have Octo Octavius. And what movie are we doing right now?
Doctor Strange.
And what's his whole name?
Oh, Stephen Strange.
Oh, there we go. All right. So with that being said, guys, thank God.
Wait. And there's
don't do it because I'm gonna you up. Do not do it.
Pepper Potts.
I asked you not to do it.
That? I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize that what I was about to do was it. My bad.
I'll stop right now. It's cool. Scott Summers. You want me to keep going?
No.
All right. With that being said, all All right, guys. So what that really truly means is Stan Lee, and don't get me wrong, this is what we call a myth. The myth is that he named all of them that for a reason, but it's not a myth. It's true, but it's not what we think it is. You know why he did it? It helped him remember the character's name.
Wow.
That me up, like, bro. He's been on Big Bang Theory. He's been on every comic. He's like I thought it was some in-depth Doctor Strange reason. He was like, no, it just helped me remember their names. I was like, oh my goodness, Reed Richards,
That's so
Sue
funny.
Storm, Ryan Reynolds, like the fuck out of here, like, so okay.
Ryan Reynolds didn't make up that name.
All right, help me out with this one. You can help. You can do this one, guys. David's come a long way. Help me out. My second title, no Sherlock. Help me out, David.
Sherlock Holmes?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What about it? Oh, well, it's Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes, and Sherlock Holmes always pops his collar.
Oh, stuff out of here. All right.
Sherlock
anyway, guys,
Holmes,
this is what
Sherlock Holmes always pops his collar before he's about to solve a mystery. That's why when he popped his collar in Doctor Strange, that was a connection to Sherlock Holmes.
While you should get credit points for that, most true comic book fans are gonna know that you read that off online.
I did.
I know, but here's the problem.
Didn't everybody find out that way?
No. The first fact, if you're a true fan, is that you should understand is where it's called no Sherlock. Is because Mr. Robert Downey Jr. played Sherlock Holmes as well as Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Ah, you're connect. Okay.
Well, I mind the Lord of Connections.
That was.
But it's okay. Thank you. I wouldn't put here for just nothing, brother. And with that being said, all right, guys, swim. Could you read this for me?
No, I don't.
I got it. Okay. Spinning of Wooding Turbine. I don't even have to read the rest. Hey, guess what? The Lord of Connection does it again. You want some Eddie Murphy and Benjamin Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
When Benjamin Cumberbatch gets to Comertage, he rolls his hands across those little things and they spin. What do you remember Eddie Murphy doing in Golden Child? I want the knife. Hey guys, Mr. Warrior just killed it. Did I not kill it, brother?
You connected the hell out of it.
Yeah, kill.
Oh. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out. Not me, because I have no frame of reference of where this lands within the whole universe that it exists in, so I'm not even going to sit here and insult comic book fans and fans of the MCU by trying to offer theories. What I will do, however, I don't know if you have a theory in mind, but I do want to know, for my time, my theory, I just want to use that time to ask you, what is your theory for how Doctor Strange and WandaVision connect?
I'll tell you my theory and I'll give it to you in under 90 seconds because I appreciate your editing and start now. Doctor Strange was the first. He wasn't. Let's say it this way. We met the two sorcerers at the. We met the first sorcerer. The mention of any sorcerer. True. Okay. I'm down to 75 seconds. I know Marvel fans, you don't think I can do it. Let's talk about it. Okay, Frida, who is Thor's mom, was the most powerful sorceress that we ever met in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After that, they introduced us to Doctor Strange, but they didn't introduce us to him. Agent Sitwell from the Shield, who was her actual AKA Hydra agent. He introduced us to the name Stephen Strange. Now, when you talk about Stephen Strange, at that point he was the Sorcerer Supreme. After Stephen Strange does that, they make us think that he's the most powerful sorcerer out there. But then we learn that the Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen character, has not twins but two boys that are the same age. So that's dope. But with that being said, the connection is this, Mr. Durden Godfrey, is that Wanda, who is aka Scarlet Witch, is the most powerful being in the Nexus universe. Didn't think I was going to do that. New Rock Stars, CBR, Screen Rant, Canadian 0.25 lag, come with us. But Doctor Strange is the most experienced sorcerer. So is it experience versus power, the immovable object versus the unstoppable force?
And that's time.
Yeah! And it's the second version of Tenet. There we go. Because I was just confused you are about this is me and Tenet. Yeah. Hey, did I not kill that, man?
That was good.
Thank you, man. Let's go, bro. I told you I got this shit, man. All right, guys. Here we are. It's time for your favorite subject and mine that I won't mention because it's NSFW. That means not safe for work. Guys, it's time for casting call. And Durden, tell us what that means.
We play casting directors for our favorite films. This one, of course, being Doctor Strange. We are going to take a character and think like Who would have been better, or just as good, or more interesting?
You know
or
what,
whatever.
David and Durden? I have a couple of people, but I can't really decide because I haven't had my aimbot just yet. So why don't you start?
I only have one. I have,
Jesus Christ, and shut the
have
f up.
Benedict.
No.
Cumberbatch.
You can't start. Okay, I'm gonna end with Doctor Strange, but what I'm gonna start with, and he's gonna love this. I'll go from bottom to the one. Now, the one was played by Tilda Swinton, no pun intended. With that being said, guess what, David? Guess what I chose? Gina Davis.
Yeah.
Long
She
kiss
could have definitely
goodnight.
done that.
Mwah. All right, that's Gina Davis. All right.
Yeah.
All right. If you get this, I'll cash up you $20. You got 10 seconds.
Okay.
I swear to you on everything I love. You got 10 seconds. Who would I have chose to play Wong?
Same nationality?
Nope. Read the name.
You talking about Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat, yeah.
I mean,
Pat He's rest in peace, Pat Morrell.
Yeah.
100%. All right, I know you're not going to get this one for Mordo.
Denzel Washington.
No, Aldous Hodge. Ever seen the TV show?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the real because I'm 25 seconds too late. Who do you think I would have chosen to play Caecilius?
Damn, that's a tough one.
But you dressed as him, so give me something.
Jared Leto.
That's funny, kid. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. Die Hard.
Yeah, Snape.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Now think about it. Think about it, man.
Uh-huh.
You're just a thief. No, Mr. Nero, I'm an extraordinary thief. No, that's that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They dropped him without telling they was gonna drop him. The movies that made us Netflix. Hire us, man. I'm watching that y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so you get to choose Doctor Strange, and I'll show you mine. And if you have mine, that's gonna be so awesome. I'll be so happy.
I got two for Doctor Strange. I think would have played the role.
Oh, shit, I shouldn't have peeked, but go ahead.
Keanu Reeves.
Okay, I do see that. I can see that.
And John Hamm.
Yeah, only because of when I seen the movie Tag. Because I didn't see his comedic side because I caught Mad Men like 8 seasons late.
Yeah,
same way I caught Breaking Bad. All right, okay, here we go. I'm finna you up. Hey, here you go. So, Doctor Strange, gotta be smart, gotta think differently, gotta be on some weird and be acceptable to weird. Jeff Goldblum. Come on, man.
It would have been maybe if they made it in the late 90s.
No, that. Bro, he played. See, that's why the reason double entendre. The reason why I'm saying he plays. There's a planet in Thor Ragnarok, the third Thor, called Nowhere. And it's literally called Nowhere. Some shit me and you would have made up. And he is essentially the president of Nowhere. And I feel like I'm watching Jeff Goldblum in the back of Jurassic Park, like Chaos Theory, so just like that, you just got in the car. Nobody can really predict that, and that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, those were our swaps. Durden, tell us about the real casting call that actually made it online. It's not as good as ours.
All right, Benedict Cumberbatch he was actually the first choice. He initially declined the role due to working on stage doing Hamlet. And Joaquin Phoenix was their second choice. He declined. He didn't want to get committed to like a multi-film deal that Marvel always has their celebrities or their actors sign.
Understandable, but he's also mentioned interest in doing a second Joker, which I don't want to see because you know how I feel about sequels.
All right, Rachel McAdams was the first choice. She initially didn't want to star in comic book films. Back when Iron Man was being made, she declined Favre's offer to play Pepper Potts. And Morgan Freeman, he was considered for the Ancient One. What?
Is he not really truly the age? Were we not born with him being old? Like, seriously, this LL Cool J shit. What the fuck? I know why they know everybody is from Africa. It's because of Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he's been old since day one. Yeah, and Steve Martin was born with gray hair.
I like it.
In previous attempts to make Doctor Strange, Wes Craven and Guillermo del Toro were both signed on to direct. Those would have been two very interesting takes on the film. And a few more. Gary Oldman, he was in talks to play Mordo. Dan Harmon, the creator of Community, the creator of Rick and Morty, he was actually an uncredited consultant and made some revisions to the script.
And that brings us to Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Number 10. Great Scott. Scott Derrickson, a longtime fan of Doctor Strange, actually spent his own money to create a concept video which he pitched to Marvel in hopes of being hired to direct the film. Number 9. Mirror Dimension. During production, Benedict Cumberbatch, in his full Doctor Strange getup, actually went into a comic book store and bought a Doctor Strange comic. Number 8. Big Easter Egg. In one of the first few scenes during the wide shot of the Manhattan skyline, Tony Stark's Avengers building can clearly be seen. Number 7. Jazz Hands. In an effort to make his spellcasting gestures more fluid and agile, Benedict Cumberbatch enlisted the assistance of dancer Jay Funk to perfect his finger-tutting movements. Number 6. No acting required. Rachel McAdams' startled reaction in the broom closet was genuine. The mop was not supposed to fall, but apparently it decided to improvise, scaring an involuntary jolt out of McAdams. Director Scott Derrickson decided to keep the reaction in the film. Number 5. Dream Demon. Scott Derrickson wanted to feature the Dream Demon, Nightmare, and introduce his world, the Dream Dimension, but decided to save him for a sequel. Number 4. Sibling Rivalry. Mads Mikkelsen's brother Lars Mikkelsen was actually the voice of Doctor Strange in the Danish dub of the 2007 animated feature. He also played a baddie in Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. Number 3. Warning Label. After the credits, a disclaimer appears warning viewers about the dangers of distracted driving. While this is most likely in response to the hero of the film doing exactly that, it also works as a perfect final punchline to the film's run-in joke about warnings being read too late. Number 2. To Be Frank. Astrophysicist Adam Frank served as a consultant on the film, advising how to portray changes in the human experience of space and time. Frank has also helped Marvel conceive the workings of the multiverse and has suggested dialogue and belief stances for the characters. Number 1. Bad Apple. When Doctor Strange is experimenting with the Eye of Agamotto and the time spells, he uses an apple to practice on. This is a symbolic representation of forbidden knowledge. Alright guys, it is 7 minutes in heaven. These are our favorite scenes from Doctor Strange.
Now, when we talk about 7 minutes 7, let's jump right into it. You're fans of the show, you know how we do. We talk about what really made us feel really, really good, and really the scenes in the film that really took us to a place I call the astral dimension. And with that being said, guys, one of my first scenes is when the Ancient One falls to her death. To me, the thing that bothered with me about that, it was a good scene, like a tragic scene, but like there was no blood. And I understand it's a Marvel company, thing like that, but like all that stuff, but like when she fell to her death, it was just kind of like, damn. Like, not like when I start out by saying there's no blood, to me the really thing that's me up is she tells us later, I've seen my death so many times. Like, damn, that like up.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
My number 3 favorite scene in the film is when he first goes to the Carmitage. Is that what it's called? Carmitage?
Yes, Carmitage. Very good.
Okay. When he first goes there to meet her, that whole interaction with them, the forget everything you think you know scene, the fact that he says that and he goes in and he does not forget everything he thinks he knows. And that scene was just so intriguing to me because it's a doctor and like this metaphysical faith healer essentially having an intellectual conversation, and neither of them are really disrespecting the other one, and it was a very interesting
somebody
dialogue.
was disrespecting her. Benjamin Cumberbatch, Stephen Strange, was disrespecting her. Before he walks in, Mortal says, "I once too stood where you stood, and I was also disrespectful." Before he walked in,
so let me rephrase that. There was nobody punching down.
Okay, yeah.
So I just thought it was the dialogue in that scene was fantastic.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Now, this is one of my favorite scenes because we hear the foreshadowing is Doctor Strange's character mentions to Wong that, hey, have you never heard of Beyonce? He's like, who are you talking about? And later, Wong is listening to Beyonce, but not just Beyonce, a song. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. What is Dr. Stephen Strange like? He likes knowledge. He likes reading. So he went to the library, but he didn't just go to the library. He used his what? Sling ring. If you like it, you should have put a sling ring on it. That was one of my favorite f***ing scenes that just got f***ing paid off. Guys, hire us. This is what we do.
I love the whole interaction between Wong and Strange.
You mean B squared? B squared?
Well,
Benjamin Wong, Benjamin Cumberbatch. Wake up, Caecilius!
Yeah, from the first scene where he's like, do you laugh? And then finally he gets to laugh at the end. It was a cool relationship.
Very cool. You want some more?
My number 2 is the first showdown between Caecilius and Doctor Strange. I like where he says, you don't know how to use that, do you? And he doesn't know how to use it, but he figures out a way to improvise. That scene is also so powerful because that's when the Relic chooses him, and that was such a cool moment, even for somebody that's not a superhero fan like myself. That was the cape had such a cool personality and life to it. It was kind of like watching the magic carpet come to life in Aladdin, in like an adult version of that. And then the cape comes and saves his life in that moment when he rises up, and you kind of know what's gonna happen, but it was still awesome to see the way they pulled it off. And so there's the powerful moments in that scene, but then there's also the some of the most hilarious moments in the whole movie where he's like, where he first comes in and he's like, he's like Doctor or Mister, and then Doctor Strange is like, it's Doctor, and he's like, Mr. Doctor. But
it's strange.
And then it comes,
I'll admit that, but it's okay.
And then you get the punchline to that, like the cherry on top of that cake that they built. That's at the end of that scene where he's like, "There's no way to stop this, Mr. Doctor." that was just a great scene altogether. The first showdown between them, and that it even goes from there into that's where it goes into the hospital, right? He draws the portal into the hospital, and you have the whole battle between his astral projection and the other guy, and watching like him use the medical science he knows about mixed with this new like whatever it is that he's used, magic, that to combine those two things in order to defeat that guy in the hospital using the defibrillator. It was awesome.
My number 1 is when the cloak attacks one of Caecilius's minions. It's the first time we see the cloak. Like, Doctor Strange is injured because guess what? After the I request the elaboration scene. Watch WandaVision if you don't know what I mean. But this is foreshadowing because it happened way before WandaVision when Caecilius and Stephen Strange are having the one line we haven't mentioned, and it's actually blasphemy if we don't, is when he say we're just moments and it's momentary specks in time and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Stephen Strange said that early in the film. So when he's saying that and him have that conversation, he laughs, and then he was like, "Why are you laughing?" He was like, "Because you don't believe." He's like, "No, because you lost your sling ring." Once that happened, and Stephen Strange he's about to die. He doesn't have his sling ring. His fucking cape goes into fucking Super Saiyan mode. It's like, "Hey, come here, bitch." Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm looking. If I had a female that was loyal like that, that's my cape. Yeah. Are you like, that's the best shit ever? Like, a gun, a knife, a shotgun. I don't even want no alien spaceship. Give me that cape. Mm-hmm. That cape ain't around. It was like stop, stop. That's like, get the out of here.
Comes with a sense of humor too.
There you go.
My number 1 scene is I've Come to Bargain. That was the ultimate payoff to the Doctor Strange story. There was so much parallel poetry in that scene. His whole character arc was all about it's not about you. When the movie first opened up, I'm like, this dude is such an egotistical asshole. There's no way I'm gonna be able to root for this guy. He's talking about how, I do no harm. I'm all about saving lives. When you're riding around, speeding across around the mountain on the highway, and you're zipping in and out of cars, going into the oncoming traffic, risking other people's lives, like, no. And
it's funny you say that. It's not funny.
She put him in his place. But
real quick, give me 10 seconds. What's the flip side of that? If he did get in that accident and he called somebody else accident, there's no movie called Doctor Strange. It's some paralyzed and their kids don't get to see their dad and mom grow up.
Mm-hmm. But his whole story is about his selfishness, him only really caring about himself, and I even have a line about that. It's one of my favorites that I'll say in the next segment. But in that moment, I've come to bargain. That scene was like his redemption right there. He expressed ultimate selflessness. He was willing to die over and over. Like Jesus died.
But you'll die for an eternity.
Jesus died once to save the world.
To our knowledge. To what we were told.
Huh?
To what we were told.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm gonna you up.
Allegedly.
Look at the camera right now. Give me 10 seconds. Did you not read the one of the strangest yet realist theories out there? That while he was doing that timeline, the ripple of that time effect between Doctor Strange and Dormammu is what created Groundhog Day. He was living the same timeline as.
I had not read that.
That's out there, but that's bro. Come into this world with me.
But he was willing to die over and over again. And the other thing about that was he was always so afraid of failure. He was like, I'm not trying, it wasn't about being successful, it was about not being a failure. And he was willing to fail over and over and over again at like, I've come to bargain, fail. I've come to bargain, fail. I've come to bargain, fail. So not only was he willing to die, he was willing to fail, which is almost worse for him.
So what you're saying, he was a successful failure?
I'ma teach him a lesson.
Yes, he did succeed failing over and over and over again, and was succeeding at ultimately winning in the game of wit against him. So he's sacrificing himself so the world could live, and yeah, I thought that was, at the end of the day, he defeated his own demons, which is why I said I thought it was cool to find out that it was his voice that he was actually bargaining with, or attempting to bargain with. So that's my number one scene, is the finale, or the I guess we would say the big boss fight at the end of the movie.
With that being said, listen. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's on your throat, but tell me about that quote.
Bigger boat. These are our favorite lines from Doctor Strange.
Mordo, the bill comes due. You know why that with me? I was a bill collector for like 90% of my life, like my fake job, like Batman and shit. But the bill comes due mean, listen, whatever you order, you gotta pay for that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He said
Did you have that? Did you have that?
No, I didn't. Did
you remember it?
Yeah, he said it more than once, I believe.
Like 3 times, like,
yeah.
Bro, we got it.
Yeah, like I said. I'm like, I know, the bill comes due. You sound like JEA, leave me alone.
No, he sounds like
I know the bill is due.
John Amos.
Yeah. My number 5 is when Doctor Strange is being presented with the farcical story about the guy that was completely paralyzed, and Benjamin Bratt, and who goes on to walk, even run and play basketball, and he's told this, and he's like, his reaction almost instantly is, he walked? Bullshit. Show me his file. And this was early on in the movie, so it was one of those moments where it was like, okay, this is a skeptic. This guy is going to be entertaining to watch.
Christine Palmer says, I need a second opinion. You had a second opinion. What you need was a competent one. If you wanted me to feel character development from a full movie in 30 seconds, that was it.
Yeah.
He comes out of surgery after playing Shazam and said...
He Dr. Housed.
Your girl. Thank you. You had me at Dr. House.
My number 4 is... what's her name? Christine, when she says, this isn't medicine anymore, this is mania. When he's like going crazy after the one surgeon refuses to work on him, and he's like willing to try anything. This isn't medicine anymore, this is mania. And that is also very relevant now these days with the people's, like, the multitude of different reactions to a global pandemic. We have entered from medicine into mania.
You lack imagination. No, you lack a spine. You have no idea what I have done. You lack a back, because remember, Steven's using his mind, and Mordo is all about the roots, just like as the one says later. You will need Mordo's strength as he would need your imagination and courage.
What scene was that in? That was after.
That was right before they get ready to go. That's after they attack the sanctum.
And he comes in there and he's like, I saved it. He's like, you saved yourself.
Yes, 100% correct. Yes, there you go. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, there you go.
My number 3 is what is it? The Kamaraji? How do you say it?
Carmitage.
Carmitage, okay. How long have you been at the Carmitage, mister? And I got in this with with the 7 minutes in heaven. This is one of the reasons why I love that scene. How long have you been at the Carmitage, mister? It's Doctor. Mr. Doctor? It's Strange. Maybe. Mads Mikkelsen, I believe that's how you say his name. I'll just call him Hannibal. He is so good at deadpan delivery where he is purposefully funny in a way that comes off as funny on accident. He's so good at pulling those off.
Smutty.
Yeah, while still being, because he did that as Hannibal a lot too, where he would say things that were hilarious, but they were hilarious because of he's saying them where like he's kind of oblivious to the fact that they're funny.
Can you see him playing a character, a binge character on Always Sunny?
I could, yeah, like a landlord or something that they have argument with or something like that for sure.
There you go. I like that, brother. All right, this is not my number one. It's probably my number two, but I bet you wish it was your number one. Vanilla Sky, that one of the movies that you turned me on, which they start out the movie saying, "Open up, open your eyes," and it's like, wake up, all this other stuff. The one tells Dr. Stephen Strange, "Open your eye." Not eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Eye. What do I have there?
Eye.
The third eye, the all-seeing eye.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was like I went back and I didn't rewatch. I went back and re-listened. This was
I don't buy into all that chakra shit.
Well, yeah, but he does because I went back and not rewatched Canadian Lad is 0.25. Shout out followers. I went back and re-listened, and when I re-listened, not at 0.25, but just simply listening, like to me it's not even inaudible. They want you to know they're saying I. It was the attention to detail to the I. And it's like, if it was just subtle, it's like, okay, I don't know. But no, they want you to know that they're specifically just saying I. So Easter eggs aren't just visual, they're verbal. And it's my first verbal Easter egg of the entire show.
My number two is when he saves Wong at the end. He's like, I know, breaking the laws of physics, Dr. Strange. Wong says, "Well, don't stop now," because he needs his ass saved. It was another one of those. It was character development that was built throughout the film that really paid off in that moment and made that moment as fun as it was.
Listen, if this ain't your number one, I bet you I'll make you change it live right now.
Try it.
Okay. And look at me when I say this. I trusted you to be my teacher, and you failed me. That is the ultimate atheist versus the most religious person in the world. I came to you broken. I told you my problems. Almost some Catholic. Like, to me, that is the emphasis of not just a movie, of life. It's just like, I came broken. I trusted you, my teacher, and you failed me.
Yeah.
That's Jesus, man. Ain't that T. Keller? Like, come on, tell me. No, before you tell me your number one, what do you think about that?
I think that's it's great as far as like explaining that the dynamic, and it gives you so much character development in such a short period of time for Caecilius. It lets you know that he has sound logic for sure, and it's kind of like the devil. That he what did the devil really do wrong other than question the person who calls himself God? And it's kind of the same with Caecilius. There was logic behind everything he did. There was no I didn't really see any moral qualms with. He just had questions that weren't answered.
The sad part about it is that you know what? Nope, not gonna do that. Not gonna do. Yay. I concur, Doctor.
All right, my number one is the ancient one. She says, "We never lose our demons. We only learn to live above them," and that is just a profound statement and a beautiful way of putting it. We never lose our demons. We only learn to live above them. It's like when people go to counseling, that's exactly what they're doing. It's like, I know I have whatever affliction that brought me here, whether it be addiction or whatever. I know this is something that I was born with and I'm going to have to live with. There's no escaping it. But I need to learn how to function in life without it affecting me. I need to learn how to, get by above it. So I think that was like the coolest line in the movie, and ultimately was like a premonition for how Doctor Strange ends up winning at the end of the day. He rises above his own demons. He's willing to fail over and over again, and do that for all eternity if necessary.
death is what gives life meaning.
I concur.
That's the man. Life is strange.
Guys, what were your favorite lines in Doctor Strange? Let us know in the comments. And while you're moving your mouse and have your hands on the keyboard, be sure to subscribe, maybe share. And let's get on to Scene Stealers. Alright, throw the board up. Down. Throw the board down. And let's start with, we did episode 1, Vanilla Sky. That was Cameron Diaz.
CD.
Episode 2, we did Tropic Thunder, and that was Mr. Robert Downey
Lincoln
Jr.
Osiris.
Episode 3, we did Django Unchained.
Christoph Waltz.
Episode 4 was Reunited States documentary, so we move on to episode 5. Episode 5 was Coming to America.
The Eddie that is Murphy.
And episode 6 was Lean on Me.
The Joe that was Clark. The Morgan that was Freeman. The engine that was Company.
And here we are at episode 7, Doctor Strange. Who is our scene stealer of the film? I have 2 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is Benedict Cumberbatch, because he was. This is really, I think this is the first thing that I've actually seen him in. I never saw Sherlock Holmes. I never saw. No, I don't think he was Doctor Who. I feel like he should have been. But anyway, I never saw him in any of that. But I think this was the first thing that I've really seen him in, and he kind of reminded me of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. He was witty, cocky, arrogant, but at the same time likable. And I think I was pleasantly surprised by how well he pulled that off. That's my first honorable mention. Do you want me to do my second honorable mention?
I'll go to my honorable mention. My honorable mention is for Benedict Wong. I want to give him credit because he plays that character, but then he also stars in the Umbrella Academy, and so the range is shown, and like he has a few lines in a lot, but he has a major part in Doctor Strange. But when he gets in Avengers Endgame, he has one line: "What, you wanted more?" But so many people across so many states and countries quote that line, and they know it. It's like, damn. I've seen actors have 98% dialogue, but Benjamin Wong, who said 5 words in or 7 words in a Marvel film, "What, you wanted more?" And so he was giving that, but I see him in this movie, so I got to give him honorable mention because, like, damn, he is actually a good actor.
Yeah, his scenes were some of my favorite in the movie.
I see it, Benjamin. Or Benedict Wong, B-Dub.
Mads Mikkelsen, honorable mention.
Hannibal.
I've only ever saw him as Hannibal, and he kind of plays the same character, not like the same sentiment of a character. He's menacing while humorous. He's dry. He's kind of robotic, but he does it really, really well, and I wouldn't mind seeing him play a few more roles like that.
I concur, Doctor.
You want my scene stealer?
I'll go.
Okay.
My scene stealer. My scene stealer is Tilda Swinton. My scene stealer is Tilda Swinton because it's one thing to be given a role, but when you're given a role in a Marvel film, in a Marvel universe, in the MCU, that all these your fucking destiny is predetermined by so many people, like so many hands at the pot. This is not like doing an independent film or a low budget film, or even a high price film. Like, there's so many people. Like, I feel sorry for the directors who have to direct these films because you're still put into a fucking box, and but I hate when you put a crayon into a box. I hate that shit. I just want to color. And with that being said, I give it to her because she dealt with the backlash of not only just playing a male character, she dealt with the backlash of not being Oriental. And I didn't think she had any type of physical prowess, or she could make me believe that she was Gina Davis in Long Kiss Goodnight, or Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, or even Vivica Fox in Kill Bill. Like, she didn't make me feel like she had that prowess. So you showed me something I didn't know you had. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't get upset because I knew you weren't supposed, like, you know me. I hate when they made in Daredevil, when they made Mr. Fxxks or whatever, they made him a black guy. When they make him like, I hate when I understand I grew up with Superman being white, so I don't want to see black Superman. I don't want to see this. I want to see what I was taught, because it's a reflection of my time. Yeah. And so I understand that I shouldn't narrative should say from comic book that I shouldn't like the chosen one or the ancient one being a female, but to me, man, she killed it, brother, and I gotta give it to her because I've seen the other films, and so I can't expect you to agree with me. What I will say is that I didn't see Tilda Swinton when I saw that character. I saw the ancient one.
I didn't see Tilda Swinton when I saw that character either, which is precisely why I can agree with you. That's why I said I had surprises. Forget everything you think you know.
Wait a minute, is this your honorable mention or your number one?
That's my number one.
Oh, I ain't got enough stuff. I ain't got enough coffee here for tonight. You know I'll pull you fucked me up. Don't do this to me right now. Do not do this to me right now.
So unanimously, I begrudgingly say Tilda Swinton.
When did you write this?
Last night and confirmed this morning.
Okay, all right.
Get on the board, Mrs. Swinton.
What the fuck? Are you shitting me?
Oh, so Tilda Swinton is our unanimous scene stealer.
You have nothing to say about it. You just agree with what I said.
I really like to move past it as quickly as possible and just move on.
Tilda.
I'm honest, not happy. Those two don't always intersect. But I will always choose honest. Tilda Swinton. All right. Tilda Swinton. Congratulations, you are a scene stealer, or I think we've had a few unanimous scene stealers this, I bet you didn't think it was going to be this time, if you chose Tilda.
I don't know what's happening right now.
What's happening is we are getting into Cast, Crew, or You.
Hey,
and we are joined by Coby Greif, writer of CBR and Screen Rant, comic book resources and Screen Rant. Check out his work, but first, check out this interview.
All right, guys, we got a special guest for you today. And what I mean by special guest, each season we only allow one you out of the cast, crew, and you category. Last season, it was my big brother for Jackie Brown. And this season, we have something special for you. I'll let him tell you about himself. But before he tells you, David, why don't you tell us his name and tell us a little bit about him?
His name is Coby Greif. He is a writer for Comic Book Resource and Screen Rant. And, That's about all that
That's
I know.
all you know. That's all you know. Hey, first off, Coby, thank you for joining us today. How are you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be the one you in the whole season. That's awesome.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you what you do at CBR, what you do at Screen Rant, and pretty much just put the audience's mind at ease that they're about to listen to somebody who knows what they're talking about, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, so I work for CBR and Screen Rant, mostly writing articles, list articles. Recently started doing some more features for CBR. That's Comic Book Resources. And they're both under the same umbrella company. So it's cool. I get to write about anime, movies, comics. And a lot of my topics I get to pitch myself. So kind of like whatever I'm watching that week or, thinking about them. Like, speaking of Marvel, I was watching the first Iron Man with some friends, and I was like, everything was catching my eye. So I just started making a list right then and there, and that became, one of my more recent lists. So it's awesome.
Now, Coby, I like that. Let me ask you a question, though, because there's some kid out there sitting on some sofa watching this interview right now. Well, technically not now, but we have the Agamotto. So it's next Thursday. He's going to be watching it. But with that being said, they're saying, hey, I want to do that with my life. And clearly you just didn't jump from the couch to here. So please let them know it's a lot of hard work. How'd you get from the couch to where you're at right now?
To be honest, it was probably the easiest thing. So, like, out of all the things in my life, I feel like the hard stuff is always the wrong stuff sometimes. But yeah, literally, was like, how do you write for these guys? You literally go on their website, follow the link, you apply, you just do your best. I guess I was lucky to get it. I've always enjoyed writing. And next thing I know, I'm writing these articles, and now it just feels like a little too good to be true. But and now I'm on this podcast, so it's like, it's just crazy.
I'm curious that, like, when you, because I watch a lot of the Screen Rant list videos, I read a lot of the articles, and I'm always like fascinated by how oddly specific they are sometimes. Like the top 10 villains that didn't realize they were a villain until the final act. Like, where do you? Like, how do those ideas come to you for because the lists are just so crazy sometimes, and there's so many, so to come up with a list that offers something fresh is impressive impressive in itself.
Yeah, like I think they try really hard not to have duplicates, obviously. So sometimes it's like just a small variant off of another idea. But I think it's kind of like when a company gets made, like Uber, and everyone's like, "Oh, I thought of a great idea," but someone had already thought of that, I'm sure. And it's like then I look on the list and I'm like, "Oh, I guess nobody thought to write this list." I wrote a bunch of lists for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I talked about different anime characters that would make awesome airbenders or waterbenders. And I was surprised no one had written that before, but I was able to write for all different bending styles, and so it's like you just let your creativity flow, and it's awesome.
What was your first interaction with Doctor Strange? Like, when did you first see it? What was your initial thoughts?
So it was when I was living in Atlanta. Me and my girlfriend, who's now my fiance, we went to there was like this really hole in the wall movie theater. It was a Regal, but it was like at like a dying mall, and it was like cheap, like $4 tickets. We went and it was awesome. I was like, I think it was the first Marvel movie where I was like, this is so different. I felt like, it had the action and everything, but I felt like it was way more like creative and artistic. And now we've had a little more of that, with WandaVision, other things, but like I was pretty blown away by that. And also a huge Benedict Cumberbatch fan. I love Sherlock on BBC. I don't know I think Star Trek Into Darkness came out at that point. So he was in a lot of stuff, and it was cool to see him in Marvel. Yeah.
I think that's the reason why he told me that I would like this movie. This should be my introduction to the Marvel universe, because I would appreciate that, because it's different from the other movies in certain ways. And I thought it was like, I didn't expect a comic book film to be so unafraid to be intellectual to the level that it was.
It's the Joker, a film of it's the Joker of Marvel. Because think about it again, he gets in an accident, loses his mind. Like he gets crazy. How he treats old girls, like how he treats Harley Quinn. She's his heart. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's the exact same, but what I am saying is I knew because of you using your mind, because I saw how turned on when he first met Vision. He didn't know who the Vision was. When we started watching WandaVision, he was like, wait a minute, it's Paul Bettany. I'm like, yes, Paul Bettany. And I was like, oh, if you love this, he didn't barely, the one punch he threw in Doctor Strange almost broke his hand again in Carmitage. So yeah, this was for you.
And I'm not even one of those people that I don't feel like I'm better than Marvel movies or something, like some indie filmmaker that's like, oh, these are below me, like Martin Scorsese or something. No, Who
directed Doctor Strange? Exactly. But who? See what the I'm talking about? Departed. Scorsese. See what I'm saying?
I'm just saying that I'm not. I want to put it out there that I'm not anti-Marvel. I just nothing it for the most part.
Let me get this straight. You have black friends, is what you're telling me. That's exactly what you're saying about this film. Like Marvel. Like, I've watched Marvel films. No.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is my token.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't want to talk about Martin Scorsese for too long, but I will say it's funny you bring it up, because it's not like Martin Scorsese is an indie director. He directs big blockbuster films. And I think it's I understand the criticisms, I do, but just Marvel makes people so happy. You know what I mean?
It does.
And I think whether you're a huge fan, you've seen every movie, every show, or you've read all the comics, or whether you just dabble in it, I think you can't deny that it's everywhere. People enjoy it. You know what I mean? And even if you're just dressing up, even if you have your wife put makeup on your face, it's fun. Just doing that, you're a fan.
We're the first era, and he's in that, I would say anyone from 28 to 38. We're in that era to where you were born with comic books already being there. By the time you get around 9 or 10, cartoons are there, X-Men, everything's going on. And now we're adults, and we start paying to go see these movies being made in front of our eyes. And our kids are being born, and we're teaching them about it. And now we're doing a show. We're that one golden era that's seen everything. And that's why it's so prevalent, is what I feel right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of us, I'll tell you, Iron Man was the first MCU movie. I saw that with my dad. We were taking my older brother up to college summer orientation. I had to tag along, I guess. And that's what we did, And now we're 23 movies later and multiple shows. And it's I think it's just it's part of people's families. It's part of people's foundations at this point.
So where would Doctor Strange rank in your top 10 lists of Marvel films?
Oh, it wouldn't be on the top 10.
Oh wow.
Is that should I lie?
No. He's confused now.
Keep it real. No, I have no frame of reference beyond
But I
that,
do.
so I can't.
And wow. Okay. Now you're talking about the MCU, right? Not every other not Howard the Duck or anything. You're talking about like just strictly MCU.
Just MCU.
Okay. All right. What is your number 10? I don't even want to know your number 1. What's your number 10? If that's not your top 10, what is number 10?
I don't know what number 10 is, but I definitely have my go-to favorites. And I think that, but that's what's great about Marvel is like there's something for everyone a little bit.
True.
Mm-hmm. I really like the Captain America movies I think Winter Soldier and Civil War are like almost the gold standard.
That's the number 2 on this list.
Because it's the Russo brothers. They also directed Community, and I love Community. And I think it's just like for me, and that's just like where it needs to be. But to be fair, Doctor Strange in a lot of ways is the future of where Marvel's going. It's going into the magic and the multiverse and all that stuff. And so, and Captain America, he's done. I mean, not spoilers, I guess, but we're done with that. We're done. So we're going into this new age. So I think it's kind of cool that you got to now see Doctor Strange. I think you're going to appreciate where things go even more because Doctor Strange 2 is coming along, Multiverse of Madness, and that's where it's all going down.
Right, and it's the first. It'll be the first film to Doctor Strange 2 will be the first film to do the direct tie-in from the MCU as far as the TV shows and that because Olsen, if we can call her Olsen, Scarlet Witch will be there. You're blowing his mind right now by saying he wants to know. He's going to ask you to email him later what's your top 10 because this is his number 1. He's looking like
it's my only one.
He's only seen 3. I'm joking.
All right, so let me dive right into your Doctor Strange knowledge. Then I'm gonna throw some. Pop quiz, hot shot. That's one of our segments, but I'm gonna actually close the book. So this is gonna just be from my mind to your mind. We're just gonna do this right there.
Hold on 1 second before you do that, because my mind is still blown by the fact that you said that the director of Community did Winter Soldier.
But I told you that Russo brothers. See, here's the thing: the first Captain America was cool. When the Russo, that's why I know you weren't listening. I told you the Russo brothers. And in fairness, I didn't know they directed Community, so we're good here. But for some reason, when they took over with Captain Winter Soldier is a top 3 Marvel film, dude. And I'm so pissed that they've done Sebastian so wrong ever since that film. Like. He's not badass anymore. He was the coldest killer in the world.
Never-ending story?
Huh?
Top tier action, but then he goes from people handling them AR-20s and doing all this and catching the shield. Now every time we see him, he's just holding up a raccoon, shooting guns. Like, man, give him some justice.
I tried to watch that. I didn't watch Winter Soldier because I tried to watch Captain America, whatever the first one was.
I feel like that's a rough one for a lot of people. I think it's important for the overall story, but I'll agree. It's certainly not in the top 10.
They should let us see Winter Soldier and then until the next one came out, then gave us the first Avenger. Make it a prequel. They put it this way, bro. They would have, if we'd have never got the first one after he died in this one. Spoiler alert. They would have ate that shit up if they would have gave us the prequel. They would have ate it up.
Exactly. That's true. But everyone loves their origin stories.
They do.
That's what I liked about Doctor Strange was it tricked me into. I was invested in the character before it became a comic book film. And the acting was just so good.
It was.
That's why I enjoyed Iron Man, because the directing with Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr.'s acting was just, it was incredible for a movie, not just a comic book movie, but for a movie in general.
But I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, Christopher Nolan had a lot to do with how the MCU had to start taking it serious. And that's the one thing that they can hold over Marvel. That's the only thing I think they can hold over Marvel is that when Christopher Nolan took over Batman, he said, I want it set in a real world. We can do it. We'll still put all of it in it. And so Iron Man made you feel like it's in a real world. They played on Afghanistan. They played on your heart, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. So all of those things happen. If you notice, that's why you got to go back and watch, like he said, 22, 23 films. Because if I'm not mistaken, help me out here, in Winter Soldier, as he was just talking about, is the first time we hear the name Doctor Strange, Dr. Stephen Strange in the universe. Am I correct?
That's a deep cut. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, like when they're targeting the potential threats, the Hydra, taking over whatever those are called, the helicarriers. And they do mention Stephen Strange. So, that was where they started to get into the more Easter eggs. And I think going back to what you were saying in terms of, Iron Man and I think Christopher Nolan's Batman's definitely set a new standard, a new tone. And I think Iron Man was super relevant at the time, dealing with, terrorism and dealing with, corrupt corporations. That was literally the summer of 2008. So I think it was just like I think that's also what got people, just like hyper relevant. And a lot of what other people talk about too is that Robert Downey Jr.'s like personal life is so mirroring the character of Tony Stark in terms of battling, you know, alcoholism and other issues. So I think like, I don't know, it's just kind of like this perfect storm, you know, and
Yes.
you know, kind of like us, just kind of like us today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What blew my mind about, and I know this is about Doctor Strange, but Iron Man, what blew my mind about that movie was at the end of it, like I grew up with superheroes that were all about anonymity. Superman, Batman, like at the end of Iron Man, he's just like, I am Iron Man. I'm like, where the hell do you go from there?
After they told him not to say it, but that's what made him badass. Yeah. It's just, he's badass, man.
Again, going back to the directors of Community doing Winter Soldier, because I saw something on IMDb, and I don't know if you can confirm this or not, but because I trust IMDb about as far as I can throw a couch. But I saw in there that Dan Harmon was like a uncredited ghostwriter on Doctor Strange as far as like the revisions and everything. Did you ever hear that? Dan Harmon, the writer of Community, creator of Community. Okay.
I mean, you know, I've heard, you know, with these Marvel movies, such a big production, it's possible he got his hands on that script, especially with his relationship to the Russo brothers and then to Marvel. You know, you never know.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so we're going right into Comatage. Watch this. Your pop quiz, and he didn't let me do a pop. Who voiced the villain in the film? Dormammu.
Dormammu was Benedict Cumberbatch himself, the Doctor.
So he was literally he was literally battling himself at the end of that movie.
Demons.
I think this was even after, because he voiced he did the motion capture for Smaug in the Hobbit movies. He's pretty, you know, and I think he's done a few other motion capture roles, and there's some behind the scenes stuff that's hilarious to watch on YouTube of him being a dragon. It's great. It's really good.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so we're talking about Doctor Strange here, and like you said, he asked you your first interaction with it. But I would ask you this: what were some of your top scenes from that film? I know it's back 2008, but what were some of your top scenes from the film that blew your mind?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the scene when he like enters. I call it the Matrix, but when she like pushes him out and he's going through that whole crazy thing, and he's got like hands on hands. I mean, that like haunts my dreams, but also it was awesome. You know, like I'm seeing this in a superhero movie. I thought that was cool. I thought the comedy of him, you know, when he was his astral projection self fighting the other astral projection guy at the hospital was great. And I love Rachel McAdams, so just like seeing her in the movie, I felt like she didn't have enough to do, but you know, they fit her in. And then all like the Inception, like the buildings falling on one another kind of stuff was crazy. And it was just cool. I thought they made magic look cool. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I didn't really read the books growing up, and I enjoy the movies. I recently marathoned them. They were all on HBO Max for a little, and now they're on Peacock. But you know, I just never really understood that level of magic. I felt like it was too old school a little bit, and this made magic kind of seem cool. It made it seem, I don't know, like it made it seem heroic. It didn't just make it seem mystical.
What does Cassilia say? You don't know how to use that, do you? He say it's cool. Like neither do I. All right, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, and all like the cool, and you got like the cape, and you got all the like shield looking things, and I don't know, just like visually was cool.
Now somebody said they were going to have an Infinity Gauntlet, or did you go back in time? It's the Iron Gauntlet. It's the Iron Gauntlet. Stella. He has no idea what it is. Stella!
Yo, like this is love right here. This is, my fiance got me this for my birthday recently. We were at my cousin Brianna's boyfriend's place, and he just has this in his bedroom. And I'm like, are you the coolest person in the world? I'm like playing around with it. And she sees me. I'm like, I've never been this excited. So that night she went online and bought it and kept it from me. I was like, damn, that's crazy. And now we keep it right on our bookshelf, which is maybe a little too much. But one day we'll have a house. I'll have my own cave. We'll put it there.
That's the coolest shit ever, man.
It's sick.
Because it's not the Infinity Gauntlet, it's the Iron Gauntlet, and you have no idea what we're talking about. Catch up, man.
Nope.
Jeez, the wheeze.
No, but you know what? I'm almost jealous because like I've seen all these movies a million times, and it's like I want to watch them again for the first time. You haven't. You know what I mean? Like
My plan is that like if I ever get hit by a car and I'm bedridden for like 6 months, I've got that in my back pocket for something to do.
No, the only issue with that is now I like want you to get bedridden, you know? So it's like now I feel bad.
You want him to. You know what I've been dealing with here? Jesus Christ, man.
No, you know what? It is.
Yeah,
Look, I tell people all the time, I'm like, these movies are amazing and I love them, but I love this stuff. And I think everyone would, but it's a lot of commitment. And I, you know, I respect people have jobs, you know, people have responsibilities, you know, but they should have started from the beginning because then it's just a 2-hour commitment once a year.
Yeah, and it's not even about that because I make time. You know, I am busy, but I will still sit on YouTube for 3 hours at night before I fall asleep and just binge watch 5-minute videos at a time. So I've got the time. That's not really a valid excuse for me. It's really what you said. It's become such a daunting Mount Everest of a task at this point to even get into.
My thing is this. I want him to go back to experience the pain me and you felt watching the first f***ing Incredible Hulk with Eric Bana. He's seeing the good times. He's skipping all the shit we had to go through. That's not f***ing fair. We've seen the Incredible Hulk get recast 3 f***ing times. You got to sit through the pain. Jesus, man.
Nah, we'll just write the spark notes up. You can just enjoy the good ones. Like we'll fill in the blanks.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
So whatever, you know, not everybody wants the reward at the end.
But before we close the interview, I want to end it on something with you. Is there like a recent article that you've written or any piece that is like that's special to you in any way, or that you're particularly proud of, that you'd want people to check out if like they're looking for an introduction to your work? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, proud of everything for sure. To be honest, like just in line with what we're talking about, the MCU stuff, I mentioned it before, but my most recent Screen Rant article, it's called The MCU 12 Moments That Are Foreshadowed in Iron Man. And it's kind of like, you know, I think any MCU fan will enjoy it like I did. I was like watching this movie and I was like, oh my God, like we're going to see that. And I think it's like, it just shows the power of where the MCU came from and how it really built upon itself. It's easy for future films to reference previous films, but it's rare that we get to see a film just like be shown throughout an entire franchise. So, you know, I'm hoping to do articles like this for a lot of the MCU movies, but we'll start here. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome. And yeah, Coby, thank you so much for finding us at just the right time in our lives and being here today. And
let's give him an applause because I think he passed the test. Audience, give him an applause. Here, let's give him an applause. You're supposed to be clapping. Add the effects.
I'm gonna add the effects in.
I know, but now I'm clapping. Hey, all right.
Check him out. We will put the links in the description for this video and any other videos that this video is contained within. And yeah, that's a. Oh yeah, one more thing, Coby. Do you have anything that you would like any parting words or anything like that you'd like to share with the audience before we move on?
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of this. Is 2 things. 1, don't tell people they have to watch anything. They don't have to do anything. If you want someone to watch it, you have to convince them. And if you can't convince them, that's on you a little bit. That's 1. And 2, like what you like. Don't just like something because everyone else is liking it. That's not cool. There's so much great content out there these days that it's a shame to not find your own niche of what really excites you, you know? And for a long time, you know, I wasn't telling people like anime, but guess what? Right now I'm currently watching the reboot of Digimon and it is incredible. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like what you like and you'll find like-minded people. I mean, look, I wouldn't think I'd be in this room with you guys right now talking about Marvel movies. And here I am. And it's only because you like what you like, you shout it out from the rooftop. So
I love the original Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen twins VHSs. It takes 2. Steve Guttenberg. Chris, yeah. All right. So you tell me to be yourself, and then as soon as
I thought you wanted me to say what I love. I love Pam Grier and Jackie Brown.
Okay. All right, Coby. Thank you very much for being here. We very much appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. Hey, man, listen, Coby did your thing. Appreciate you coming to the show, guys. Please follow his work because he's following ours. And, hey, maybe we'll work together soon.
Links are in the description.
And according to the Agamotto, we will work together soon. All right, guys, that brings us to what would we change?
AKA room for improvement.
So with that being said, my room for improvement would be this. I'll tell you this. My room for improvement would be with myself. And what I mean by that is when I first watched this film and when it came out in 2008, I hated the last scene. Like, I hate it. I'm like, I'm getting mentally, you built me up so much and you let me off here. But
Remind me real quick. What's
when I said
the
last scene, I'm talking about Dormammu, I've come to battle. Dormammu, I've come to battle. Dormammu, I've come to battle. Like when he kept doing it over and over.
Oh, wow.
And I understood.
You realize that was my number one, right?
No, it's fine. I understood the logic behind it. But when I said what I would change, I wouldn't change the scene. I would change my mindset. And what I mean by that, in 2008, when I watched that film, I would have to. I'll be honest. I was so pumped up on pumped up on Marvel steroids and all that other stuff. What I've seen, I wasn't ready for them to give me a Joker. And don't get me wrong, Joker. And when I say Joker, I'm doing a disservice to Joker because Doctor Strange is not Joker. But I wasn't prepared for them to give me acting in a superhero film. And this is the first film where I really felt it wasn't a scene, it wasn't an act, it was a film that dedicated true acting to what was going on. And shout out to the director. So with that being said, I wouldn't change the film. I would change how I felt about it, because at first, the end scene, I hated. And then it wasn't until we did the rewatch and I talked to you and I talked to the guest and I talked to myself and I did the deep dive again. I was like, oh shit. He truly really didn't understand his powers, and he only understand, he said it right before he goes into to fight Dormammu, a world beyond time. So it was just like another procedure to him. Like, hey, yeah, pain is an old friend. I'm simply going to, I'm going to keep dying, but Earth is safe. It wasn't about him anymore. And that, to me, was why I would change what I would say, because one of the lines we didn't say is what the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton, says, Stephen, for as smart as you is and as talented as you are, you lack the most important lesson of all. What? It's not about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got nothing to change about that movie. And you said that I'm anti-Marvel. I respect what they do. I would never want that job. And I've caught glimpses of other Marvel movies, and I expected to have a lot of those things on my mind watching this one. Like, why are you're loading it up with so much effects, and it's so fast that I can't even tell what's happening, and it looks messy and sloppy. This, when they cut to effects on this, and the city is folding in on itself, and they're inceptioning while tenanting at the same time and doing it better than both of them did. And you have in this movie, you had all of the great acting that you would expect to see in any great film, and then on top of that, you have these insane effects that I can't even begin to imagine how were pulled off, or what kind of mind even kept that put together to map out. So I wouldn't change anything because I don't have the right.
Agamotto has spoken. I love that. There we go, brother. Fxxks Given.
Let's get into Fxxks Given.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to put those middle fingers up. How many do you have? And listen, this week we're going to tell you how many we give about the movie Doctor Strange. Durden, take us away.
4.75.
Ow!
Because like I said, it's a great movie on its own, and it's got amazing effects. So it's killing it. And I have a few notes about just things that I really liked about it. When he's telling the Ancient One why he became a doctor, I do no harm, save people, and I was about to call him out.
Hippocratic Oath. Whatever it's called.
It's more like hypocrite, because he was I knew that was not what
you didn't hear.
See, this. No, I'm saying I was about to call him out. I was about to get really angry at the movie because I'm like, this is a character flaw. But she did what I wanted to do. She says, you became a doctor to save yourself. It goes back to everything she said. It's all about you.
Let me blow your mind. At the beginning of the movie, the first 30 seconds of the movie, Caecilius, who you're dressed as, calls the Ancient One hypocrite. He doesn't just, that's not a throwaway line. He finds out what he thought was true. When she bent the dimension, he was like, this bitch is using the dark dimension. Mm-hmm. That's why she wore the hood. She didn't want anybody to see this thing on her head. So when he saw her using, he's like, hypocrite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the first 30 seconds, well, not 30 seconds, but the first minute of the film. But it goes to what you just said. So ironically, she tells him, Stephen, it's not about you. They were the same people. She was bending the rules of what matter and law was to stay alive, to to do what she thought was better, and so was he. Hypocrite. Good job, man. Great. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I have it right here. The effects were insane. When the city is totally broken down, flipped around, and kaleidoscoped, and you could actually watch it happen with your eyes and see, like, they didn't just blur a bunch of shit and then make it come back the way they wanted to. You could see the parts actually moving and turning into something else. It was just so impressive to watch. I said it made Inception looks like Child's Play. I love the part where Dr. Strange gives Nick, the other surgeon, the scalpel. To let him work. Yeah, it's like that right there was like the
he went from bachelor's degree to you take the scalpel.
That was his first step to like defeating his own ego. When he pops the collar trying to be cool, the thing caresses his face to call back to Sherlock Holmes, and just
stop.
Just such a stop. The movie was so intelligent on so many levels, and it was fun with the effects, the good effects and the good action, and on top of that, it knew how to have fun with itself. And then I believe my last note is, the poetry of what he had to do to save the day, the come to bargain, the poetry of his watch breaking before he goes to a place and learns how much of an illusion time is, and the fact that he puts that broken watch on at the end, almost to signify that he is staying within this dimension where time doesn't matter, or at least staying on this path that will keep him within that mindset of being outside of time. So I thought it was I thought it was a very well fleshed out movie. The character development was fantastic, and I couldn't ask for anything else from a film. So 4.75. I take off 0.25 for Marvel blowing itself at the beginning of it, making me sit through 45 motherfucking seconds of.
Oh, stop fucking with that. I love that intro. I want to make mine short and sweet since I rambled along. I give it a 4.
Wow, so you're going to put me in a position to have given Doctor Strange more than you.
No, you're in the position to say that. I give it a 4 because of they were put into the confines of having to be constructed on what would happen before, during, and after that film. This film was not allowed to be a 5 or 10 or 15 or 20. So I think they did the best they could do with what was allowed giving to them. And so 4 is the maximum I can give this, not because of my scale, but because they were like handcuffed by, again, listen, no matter how great you want this film to be, it needs to lead into this. And like, if I'm writing a movie, I don't want you to come tell me, hey, that female hero, Wonder Woman, let's make her a dog, because we got this film called Lassie and we're loving it. And that's my whole point. So I'm not saying they did that to the director. What I am saying is that for what the director was given, the acting, to me, this is a 4. But this 4 is better than some films that were allowed to do the thing that I think have higher numbers, because, like you just said, the visuals. Did you just hear what you just said? How lucky are we? How beautiful should we think the world is? You just said that Doctor Strange's effects makes Inception look like Child's Play. The people from E.T. want to stab you in your throat. You see what I'm saying? But it's the truth. Dude, when we've edited and we're not bad. Like, listen, I'm good at what I do. I'm a good editor. I'm not great. He is not even. He Edward Scissorhands, and even he says, like, we're watching it, like, there's no feathering, there's no glitches. That like I know y'all had months, and if I had months to work on the scene, I get it right too. But my point is, like, God damn, man, yeah. The director, who's the FX guy? I want to talk to you. What, like that shit, like, so.
That's why it's such a high rating. It was good all around. I mean, the effects people were on point. The writer was on point. The direction.
Yes.
Hats off, because how do you keep that together?
Yes.
The assistant direction.
Yeah.
I mean, and the acting. I mean, I can't even think of somebody that was like ill cast in that.
No, you didn't feel like, I want to see her, I want to see this. And truth be told, the actress that played Miss Palmer, say her name again, Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
To me, she played a more believable character than Gwyneth Paltrow, as far as Iron Man's old lady. And I'm going to stop it right there, because the women are now at TTFT.
And once again, she's stuck with a dude that's just like leaping in and out of time, because she was also Eric Bana, Hulk's wife in The Time Traveler's Wife.
I saw that film.
And years later, she is still a time traveler's wife, or at least a time traveler's prospect. She went from the Hulk to Doctor Strange. And they were both traversing time.
From Dr. Banner to Doctor Strange. That's why. There we go. Hey. We got lemons. Let's make lemonade.
What did you think about Doctor Strange? Put it in the comments. We read and reply to every single one of them, so have a conversation with us. All right, coming attractions. The next film we are going to be covering, not next Thursday. Next Thursday, you'll get a whole bunch of great material from this episode, including extended versions of the interview that we did and an extended conversation between Coby and Brandon during the elevator pitch, because you got a few minutes of it. They went for...
They're still talking.
Yeah.
They're still talking.
But the Thursday after that, my film, one of the most underrated comedies, certainly one of the most underrated Robin Williams comedies, directed by Danny DeVito, Death to Smoochie. It's also got Edward Norton in it. It is kind of like a dark satire on the world of children's television, live action television, and that evolution from the fluffy characters like Barney to the human characters like the Wiggles. And this sounds like a terrible movie the way I'm explaining it, but it is.
It's not.
It's insane.
I've seen like 40 minutes of it, but I've never paid attention to it, so I look forward to it.
I haven't watched it in like 10 years, so I'm very much looking forward to. Should
we triple up on season 3 and veto ourselves and do Primal Fear? So it's 3 seasons of Edward Norton.
Oh, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Neither would I.
And once again, be sure to check out our new sponsor, Aimbot Energy. The link will be in the description to get 15% off their products, as well as support our show. And be sure to subscribe, check us out on Patreon. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks from now.
Hey, Dave. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're all alone.
Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are all your own when you're down. When you're strange,
hey!
No one remembers
your name. Hey!
When you're strange,
come on.
Faces come out in the rain.
When you're strange.
When you're strange.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.